all. But storyline-wise,
I'm going to get this slurp. Hold on.
ASMR. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to Stream It or Skip It with Jess. I'm your favorite couch potato, and I have a very special guest with me today, Ms. Sophie Gonzalez.
Hello.
She is my high school best friend. We've known each other for a really long time.
Yep.
And we actually became friends because of a really old special musical movie called The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Very
great
great
musical. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that it was kind of cute the way how we kind of met as well too, because we weren't really friends when we were cast, like, or not really cast, but like we weren't really friends before that.
Right.
And it kind of came full circle eventually. She asked me if she could borrow my musical like shoes for some sort of like audition, and I was like, okay, sure, like whatever, it's fine. And then literally we became best friends after that. The next year, I'm trying to steal her shoes because I was the witch in The Wizard of Oz and she was cute little Dorothy. So very full circle moment, basically.
Yeah, it was like it was meant to be, and we just didn't know.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Yeah.
So
cute.
Sophie, like, if you wanted to like give a little intro about yourself, like what you do and all that stuff, so that our viewers can get to know you.
Yes. I am also a couch potato. I'm also a musician. I am a music teacher and a freelance vocalist. So I sing around LA, sing around San Diego, sing wherever anybody wants to hire me. My social media, if you're interested in hearing about my music endeavors, it's at Sophie Ray Gonzalez Music, and that's spelled SophieRaeGonzalez Music.
I will definitely link it below so that you can follow her. She actually was the singer for my wedding. Yay. It was a really special moment, so you all need to definitely check her out for sure.
Yay, thank you.
All right. So one of the reasons that I actually asked Sophie to be on my show as my very first guest, obviously not only because she's one of my best friends, but also because I had a memory from high school that was really funny and had to do with like a movie. So I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was my senior year and your junior year.
Okay.
And it was around Valentine's Day. And and we were like going through it without going into too much detail, but like we were going through it for Valentine's Day, and we decided to spend it together. And that was actually my first time where I came over and you wanted to watch, I don't know why, but you wanted to watch a horror movie. So we watched Saw. Yeah, do you remember that?
I forgot about this.
And I was like, back then I was afraid of horror movies. I was like scared, shitless basically.
God.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, I'll watch a horror movie with you. So we watched Saw on Valentine's Day together because we were like, screw Valentine's Day.
This was at my house.
Yes.
Like the house with the tile.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So
totally
we've been watching movies together for a while.
A long time.
Using it forever.
Yeah. That's so funny.
I know.
Wow.
But yeah. So then that takes us into the movie that we're gonna watch today.
Yes.
Which is called The Killer.
Yes.
We watched it and we both streamed it on Netflix. Yeah. But before we get into the movie, I also wanted to give a little shout out to our food for today, which is poke from Poke Bar in Monrovia. Yeah. So that's basically going to be what we're going to be chowing down on while we're talking about this movie together for today. So sorry if you don't like any of like the eating sounds. This YouTube channel is not for you.
We want to pick up all the chews, right?
ASMR. We should give them a little ASMR. Just kidding. Okay, so we can go ahead and just like get into it. Cool. So basically the movie that we decided to watch, like I said earlier, was The Killer. And Sophie actually recommended it because it's a new movie on Netflix. It's like a Michael Fassbender movie. Originally, is it?
It's really
I haven't even tried it yet, but I'm gonna try it in a second. But originally, basically, I looked into the movie at first and I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like an action movie because it's about like an assassin, super actiony.
Right. I thought the same. Right. I thought it was gonna. We have thoughts.
We have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. Should we start with like a 1 out of 10?
Our rating?
Because I can't tell.
Do you want to do, okay, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a rating first or should we like talk about it as well too. But why don't we go ahead and give our rating?
Okay.
I had a really hard time with this though, not gonna lie. Like giving it an actual rating.
Me too. I was
I was torn.
Okay, wait. Okay, so how do we want to do like out of 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5, A, B, C, D, E, F scale?
Let's do like 1 out of 10. Obviously,
okay.
like 50 to 60, like 50% is usually like failing, right? As if like I wouldn't recommend it. If it's like a 50%, a 5, I wouldn't recommend it. 60% is like kind of passing.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
So,
what was your score? You go first. You go first.
Okay, honestly, I would give it, it's so hard, but I would maybe even give it like a 4.
Okay.
A 4, but I have reasons where I could bump it to a 5. Even like a 5.5 where it's like in the middle. But it's hard without explaining it.
I low-key felt like, I was like, am I just like such a snob that I don't like this movie? And I was like, is Jessica gonna like judge me? Because like, I'm just like such a movie snob. Like, am I a movie snob?
Oh my god.
And okay,
so then what would your
I would also
rating
give
be
it,
then?
I don't know if I would give it a 4.
Okay. You give it lower?
I think I would give it a 3 out of 10.
A 3 out of 10. Okay.
Well,
okay. No, because like I could see that though. But I could also see why I kind of see why I would want to give it higher. But I need to like explain. You know what I mean?
Also, okay, I told Jessica this already when we got here, but like I watched it like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was like a week ago that we watched it.
And then today, I keep hitting this camera, sorry.
Okay.
Today, before I came here in the morning, I was like doing chores and stuff, and I had the movie on because I was like, I want to refresh my memory. I want to open my notes.
Yeah.
Like, I want to give it another chance. I want this to pass, right? And it just didn't. Like, even the second time around, I was like, and I was kind of skipping through it, you know, because I was like, yeah, I get this.
That's when you know.
Yeah.
When you have to skip through it.
I think it just was so promising because it's Fassbender.
It was, yes.
And I was like, Fassbender doesn't do shitty movies.
Yeah.
But he did a shitty movie, and it's called The Killer, and it's on Netflix.
Okay.
And
let's like break it down though.
Yeah,
let's break it down though, because you're right. It honestly had a lot of promise, and even just the first scene. I think that the first scene, like before they actually got into it, like the little montage at the very beginning.
When he's in Paris?
Before that, the little montage where they did like the credits, like the beginning credits and things like that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was so promising. I actually really liked it because for me, it kind of felt like in an anime when they do like the opening credits. Yeah, and they give you snippets of what you're going to see. It looks so interesting. There was like action.
Yeah.
He was like loading the gun. There was like, all this stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be that type of movie. Like, okay, it's really cool. I really enjoyed that. But
then it wasn't that. That was so confusing for me.
It was.
And it was so, like, even the opening credit scene was so different than the rest of the movie.
Okay, I timed it because I actually ended up going back and timing it because, okay, he was talking in the really beginning. Like, let's just go through like A through Z, like from the whole storyline. We'll do storyline first, and then we'll kind of talk about other elements as well. But storyline wise,
I'm gonna get this slurp. Hold on. Okay.
Oh my god, I love that. Okay, so back to the storyline. In the beginning, it's just literally him, like, camping out, trying to, like, you know, wait for his target, whatever. I get that. He starts talking. The first line that he says should have been an indication, because I go back and I think about it now, and it sets up the whole entire story. I think he said something along the lines of, like, it's amazing how physically exhausting it can be to do nothing. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Like, you know, makes you think. But that was like the whole movie. And I think that was kind of the point almost. But we can like get into that after we talk about everything else.
Okay.
But basically,
I didn't think about That's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then I went back and ended up timing it because literally for 5 minutes straight he's talking, right, about what it's like to be an assassin. So I'm like, okay, this is a really long monologue, and he's already been talking for 5 minutes. How much longer does he talk? So then he continues talking.
He keeps going.
And literally, I timed it at 7 minutes into the movie. Something kind of happens. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because then someone tries to like creep up on him, or we think it's someone trying to creep up on him. He gets ready to like shoot them with the gun. Turns out it was just like the mailman dropping off. And I was like, oh, okay. So I sit back and I'm waiting for literally because then after that 7 minutes,
like
it's
12
literally
minutes.
12 to 13 minutes before anything happens. If I were like my mom, because she has like a really short attention span, she would have turned it off by then.
Yeah.
Because who's gonna sit through 12 minutes of a monologue of just talking and watching him like work out,
especially when it's not a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Like in a Tarantino movie, he does a lot of monologues, a lot of dialogue, but it's like purposeful because you're like understanding the character better. But in this monologue specifically, it was like, I don't know anything about this guy. I just know that he's an assassin and he's like
talking about being an assassin.
He's methodical in his process.
Right.
But like, duh, he's an assassin.
Right.
You have to be. Right? Like.
But then I have thoughts about that as well too when we keep talking.
I do as well.
So then, I guess fast forward, right? Some action finally does happen. And he, obviously spoilers, you should already know before we get into this that there are spoilers.
Yeah.
He missed the shot.
Right, okay. Yes, because his heart rate.
Was it from his heart rate? Because he was...
Did you notice that? Like in the movie, he kept checking his heart rate?
He was like, I'm going to wait until it gets to below 60 whatever.
And it was like 65.
Oh, I didn't notice that actually.
Which is like really low.
I know. I was like, how does one even do that, especially in a situation like that? But I guess he's an assassin, so makes sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess an assassin would have to be in pretty good shape, right? Because like usually, if you have a lower resting heart rate, like your cardiovascular health is better.
Oh, okay.
So, and then he was like doing yoga and stuff. So like,
yeah, that makes sense. Meditating.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was okay. He misses.
Which was
like.
Of course he misses.
Of course he misses.
I get it.
The movie has to go somewhere.
Right. But then I thought it was gonna be like, oh, he missed, and now it's gonna be the fallout of like all of that, right? But he goes home. I was like, oh,
he goes home to the Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
he's in Paris,
and it's like, I missed. I'm going to the Dominican Republic. I'm going home.
I'm gonna go home.
Like, it is what it is. I missed. It is what it is. Like, I've never missed before, but I missed, and now I'm gonna go home. So I was like, oh,
that's
okay.
not what I would do.
Right.
If I were an assassin.
Especially because, like, his, whatever you want to call it, his handler was like, we gotta, like, work this out, like, whatever. And he's like, no, I'm going home.
Yeah.
And as he goes home, you might need to, like, I don't know, give me your opinion on this, because, like, I was a little confused. He's, like, trying to see if anybody's, like, following him, whatever. He notices the dude with the socks, right? And I was like, oh, there's gonna be something with the dude with the socks.
Yes! And then nothing
came
happened
from that at all. So I was like, why did they focus on the dude with the socks, like, multiple times? I was really confused about that.
And then he, like, went to this hotel.
Oh, right.
And he put, like, the glass on the door. With,
that,
like,
I can get, like, if someone opens it, whatever.
And I was like, oh, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then, like.
Nothing happens.
And at that point, it was then that I had realized, like, I think the way that they wrote this script was, like, they gave it to one person. They were like, write 10 pages. Then they passed it to another person, write 10 pages. Like, and then that was the movie that happened.
That kind of feels like it.
Yeah.
Because you think it was going to go one way, and it didn't. It went in a different direction.
Yeah.
And then you thought it was going to go in a different way.
Yeah.
And then it went in a different direction.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so he gets home. Like, we'll talk about it. But, like, he gets home. And this was my qualm with it, okay? If you're such... Okay, before I get into that, I guess. He gets home, realizes that somebody broke into his home, and he thought that they kidnapped we assume it must be a lover or maybe a loved one type of thing, right? Because it was really bloody. There was obviously some crap that went down.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to look for his loved one.
Yeah.
My thing is, if you're such a good assassin, isn't like assassin rule number 1 is to like not have significant others or loved ones, or like have them like be at your place. Right? Like,
well,
wouldn't you hide them better?
I have thoughts about that too.
Okay, go for it.
Well, okay. Cuz like it's one of the things I like about the movie is the music, naturally, because I'm a musician. And I'm very opinionated about music.
Okay,
right?
and I feel like you would notice the music more so than others.
Yes.
For sure.
And like what I found interesting about this movie was that they had the Smiths playing for like the whole movie. That was kind of like a central theme to like this character, which we don't know his name.
Right,
also,
ever.
He always has a different alias in the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, that, you know, would an assassin listen to the Smiths? You know, I don't know.
Why?
Like that, because the Smiths is like very like dark and romantic music, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's very dark.
Oh, okay.
Dark humor a lot.
Yeah.
Like the singer of that band is like absolutely like a sociopath. He's so messed up. But like, it's like, to me that like makes him feel like less of an assassin, I guess. And so like, I was like, if I were thinking of an assassin, like, I would think that they don't listen to music.
Right.
Because it would be too distracting.
That's what I thought too. That's literally what I thought too. Especially when you're trying to shoot someone.
The Smiths, like of all bands, like
while you're trying to shoot somebody.
Yeah. It was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know? I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It basically turned into that. It was like, I thought it was going to be the fallout of like him missing the shot, and now he was going to try to like fix his mistake and like go back and like
hunt down that
guy.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. And it turns out that he then kind of became the one who was being hunted because of his mistake or whatever. But I get it. Okay, yeah, like let's throw in the significant other, like let's throw in the girlfriend, so that he can kind of have a reason to like now hunt other people.
Because he's a romantic guy.
Right.
He listens to the Smiths.
Right?
Of course he's a girlfriend.
Exactly.
No.
So I was just like, okay, like that's a little weird, but okay, sure, why not? So he's like going through it, trying to like get to her, or trying to get to like her killers, because he ends up finding her at the hospital, whatever, right? So he realizes, okay, I'm gonna go to the handler first, and I'm going to, you know, figure out who these people were that tried to like kill her, basically. That scene where he like ended up killing the handler was also another like, are you really an assassin, or like a good assassin? Because remember, he had that thing. He like shot the guy in the chest twice or 3 times, and was like
with the staple gun,
with
right?
the nail gun or whatever, the staple gun, and was like, okay, here's my calculations. If I calculate these like 3-inch nails with like this dude who's like not a non-smoker, like blah blah blah, and I shoot these into his lungs, like he'll have 6 minutes before he drowns and like he dies, so I can question him. And then the dude dies instantly.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, never mind. So I'm like, are you real?
So the movie should actually, maybe the movie title's correct. Because he's not an assassin. He's a shitty assassin. He's just a killer.
He's just a killer.
That's why it's called The Killer. Because he's like not a good assassin.
He's not. And it made me wonder, like, is this like his first time on the job? Like, or how many, because they made him seem so good. But everything after that made him seem so bad.
Yeah. He needed more training. He needed a lot more training. But we skipped part of the story where he found the guy in the taxi.
The taxi dude. You're right. My bad.
Because he kept saying in the movie, like, don't show empathy, right?
Yes.
Like, oh, I'm such a...
Stick to the plan.
I'm such a badass.
Don't trust anyone. Yeah.
And I really didn't think he was going to, like, shoot that guy.
I thought so, too. I was kind of, like, hoping he wouldn't, because I was like, okay, maybe he's going to show a little bit of empathy. And then even at the end, he was like, you know, like, I'm just going to, like, leave the keys here. I'm going to get out. And then he, like, shot him and killed him. And I was like, okay.
And then he found out about the woman that looked like a Q-tip.
Yeah. And I didn't understand that at all at first. I was like, what do you mean she looks like a Q-tip? Like, I don't get it. And then when we did see her, she looked like a Q-tip. Yeah. And I was like, I hate to say that about, what's her name?
Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton. But she really looked like a Q-tip.
She looks like a Q-tip, yeah.
Oh
She,
my
I mean,
gosh.
she had her hair bleached
Yeah.
in the movie.
Mhm.
That whole scene too was just so shitty. Okay, well,
Yeah, before we get there.
before we get there, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so then he kills the Dominican Republic taxi driver.
Mhm.
Gets info like ID on
Right.
the two people,
Yeah.
and then
Goes to the first guy.
he goes to the lawyer guy, his handler,
Mhm. Mhm.
kills him.
Mhm.
Then Dolores, remember Dolores?
Oh, the assistant.
The assistant.
Yeah.
He was like to the lawyer, like, give me names. I need names. And he
Yeah.
was like, no, dude. So he killed him.
Yeah.
And then Dolores was like, I have the name. Dolores was a mess. Poor
She
Dolores.
was. Yeah, I felt really bad for her.
I felt really bad
All
for
her anxiety medicine that was in the cabinet already.
She tried like ODing
Mhm.
on like meds, but it didn't work.
Mhm. Mhm.
She was like, I have the names, whatever. He goes to her house. She like tells him the names. She has it like on a backlog there.
Yeah.
And then he like pushes her down the stairs.
Yeah. So she was like, I have kids, and I know what you do. I want you to make it seem like it was an accident because I want them to get my life insurance. So she's like, I know, like, he's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Or you're gonna kill me.
Mm-hmm.
So just do it to make it look like an accident. So I was like, oh, okay, is he like gonna do that? Or maybe he'll have empathy for her, like he's not gonna,
Kill
the whole time
her.
I kind of was still thinking like he might be a little empathetic and he's not gonna kill her.
Yeah.
So then at the top of the stairs, when he's behind her, he snaps her neck.
Mm-hmm.
She falls down the stairs and then like falls to the bottom. So like people will think like she snapped her neck because she fell down.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But then I thought about it and I was like, okay, but then is that him being empathetic? Because like he did make it look like an accident. So her kids probably will get the life insurance.
But her employer is dead. Right? So like if I were a detective finding out,
it would look sketchy, right?
I'd be like, oh, that's weird that they died the same day.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
But
I don't think this movie thought that far. Maybe
No.
the other writer didn't know how the boss died. So that's how they wrote
the
it.
fourth writer.
Yeah, the fourth writer. So moving on to the first assassin kill.
First assassin kill.
Yeah.
Right.
He's in Florida.
Yes.
The Floridian.
Of course he's in Florida.
Of course he's in Florida. And you can just totally tell as well too that he's in Florida.
When he drives up.
Mm-hmm. There's like a huge like pit bull, music blasting. It's crazy. All this stuff.
His car horn is La Cucaracha.
Yeah.
Ba, 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 ba. I was like, wow.
I was dying at that.
Yeah, he's in Florida.
Yeah.
That was a good scene.
Really? You think it was a good
fight
scene? Okay. I was pissed because I was like, this is where
It was dark though.
it was really dark. And I feel, okay, so they're fighting, right? And I get it. This other guy, he's like a huge, giant, like muscle, like meathead type of guy.
Yeah.
So it's obviously going to be really hard to like fight him, right? Wouldn't you think that as an assassin, or maybe like a good assassin, that you would bring more than one weapon to kill someone? Not just one gun. And I get it. He was having a hard time finding guns, right? A knife? A kitchen knife? A pocket knife?
Something.
Something. I'm dying.
All he did was like
He tried to shoot him, missed, lost the gun.
Yeah.
Didn't have any backup weapon on him. And then they were fighting for the gun and then was trying to find the shooter.
The movie needed a scene like that.
You think so?
It needed a scene with like him
trying to
because
find
we
things.
wanted him to win. We needed something to like poor Michael Fassbender, because we don't know his real name, his character's name. Poor Michael Fassbender. Like, I hope he kills this guy.
Right.
You know?
That's true.
So like maybe that's why I needed more like fighting.
Yeah.
And like
and he was a shitty fighter.
he was a shitty fighter.
I was like, what kind of assassin is so bad? But at the same time, I get it. Maybe some assassins
assassin-
are like further, like they're
Exactly.
not close contact. They're like, they're sniper, they're shooting,
exactly.
whatever, right?
I wouldn't even say he was an assassin. He was like a sniper. A sniper killer. But like, would a sniper killer ever have to like be in combat?
True.
Maybe not.
And maybe that's why he didn't.
Maybe that's why he sucked at it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he only had just one small gun.
Yeah.
Because all his guns are
Yeah.
sniper rifles.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, but
it made me like hate him more though, because I was like, you really are a horrible assassin. Who, like, even me, I'm not an assassin. I'm not going to, but if I was gonna go confront someone and try to like avenge my loved ones, I wouldn't show up with one gun.
I would have poisoned him.
Okay.
Right? Like, I feel like that would have been 10 times easier.
He tried to not poison the dog, but he tried to put it to sleep. That was clever, so I was like, okay, I get that.
Yeah. He gave it what? Malt liquor and ZZ Quill?
Yeah.
And beef?
Yeah.
What? Oh, also, like, okay, so Michael Fassbender's character, like, talks about eating protein. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, he's on keto diet. Because, like, he bought the raw beef, and I was like, oh, maybe that's, like, his keto dinner.
Oh.
Because he ate his McDonald's in Paris.
Yeah.
He, like, took the bread off and, like, did you notice that?
Yeah.
And then, like, there was another time he only had, like, an egg. I was like, oh, he must be on a keto diet. Mm-hmm. He's so weird. He's so strange. Maybe that's why he's a bad assassin, because he has keto fog. Mm-hmm. You know, when you go on keto, you're kind of, like, tired and, like...
We're trying to rationalize why he's such a bad, horrible assassin.
Because he's just started his keto diet.
He was hungry.
He was hungry. He has brain fog.
Oh, my gosh.
From not eating I just burped. You're going to have to edit that out. Or keep it in if it's a cute burp.
I didn't even hear it.
Okay, good.
You're good.
This probably picked it up.
Probably. Her ASMR burps.
Yeah.
So he ended up killing the guy. Even though he didn't really end up killing the guy fell backwards onto like a spike or a broken table leg. And that's
No, he did shoot him.
That is true.
He did shoot him.
He didn't even let him finish, which I loved, because I was like, I'm done hearing to this meathead talk. And he was like, and he just shot him. And I was like, okay, yeah, enough. I'm done with this scene. Mm-hmm. And I was like scared he was going to shoot the dog.
Me too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, is he really going to shoot the dog? But he spared the dog. But then he like torched the house on fire, so maybe the dog ended up dying anyways.
The dog probably died.
Yeah.
Which is messed up.
Yeah. You should have just shot.
That's super messed up.
At that point, you might as well just shoot it.
Right? So that it doesn't have to burn. Mm-hmm. Maybe the dog got out. Mm. Hopefully. Hopefully the neighbors saw.
I'm sure somebody saw at some point. So then...
I was like, why did he burn it, though? To, like, cover his tracks?
Evidence? Yeah.
Because his blood is there?
For sure. Because he should have brought more than one weapon, but... But we needed that scene, I guess.
We needed some action. Mm-hmm. Something.
Yeah. I mean, the action... that's something I'll say about this movie. The action parts, when there was action, it was good. Mm-hmm. Like, even the way it was filmed, I thought it was really filmed, like, artistically well. Especially when you're following people who are running around, like, throwing stuff at each other.
Yes. Whoever was the cinematographer,
they did a great job. Especially on this movie. Like, I will give that to them.
And I also liked how each location, because there's, he's in Paris, he's in Florida, he's in New York at one point, Chicago, Dominican Republic. Yeah. Like, each of those places kind of had like a different
like
color scheme.
Yeah, and
like the Dominican Republic was kind of glowy.
Yeah, glowy, beachy.
Yeah,
sort of like fit with that.
Yeah, and it would like made me feel like it made me understand the differences in those places. Mm-hmm. Maybe even there we go. There's the burp. Sorry, excuse me.
Cute.
I had kombucha. Maybe because he like that's his home. So maybe he's like even lighter himself there. Maybe it's mirroring that vibe.
Yeah.
Humanizing
that emotion.
Him
yeah, so I definitely think the cinematographer did really well with that. For sure. Mm-hmm. So then, okay, let's move on to the next kill, which was the second assassin, Tilda
Swinton.
Yeah.
The Q-tip.
How did you feel about that scene? Her being like a normie, but an assassin behind like closed doors. Even he was like, this is weird. Like, I'm going to like I'm like following like basically.
I didn't feel it was so weird. Like I felt like
it almost felt unnecessary.
It was so unnecessary.
I agree.
Her
okay,
little
oh my god.
speech.
Yeah.
Asking for ice. She's like, oh, I know it's my final moments, right?
Yeah.
And like
she wanted the ice cream. Which I kind of get. Like, if I knew I was going to die, maybe I would want ice cream, but they didn't even follow through with it. So I was like, okay, what was the point of that?
Well, and also, like, he drank the whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? Like, I was so confused by his choices that his character made in that moment.
Right, right.
That he started, like, talking to her and, like,
Yeah.
drinking whiskey with her. I was like, what?
Like, what was the
going
point?
on? Like,
yeah.
all of the little, like,
Just wait
monologues
till she,
were, like,
unnecessary.
I was like, you're not even an important character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just want to see this guy get revenge
mm-hmm.
for, like, them killing his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
I just didn't understand that.
It was really weird.
And then at the end, because he takes her gun from her purse at first, right? And then at the end, when he does end up killing her,
she had a knife.
She had a knife. And I was like, see? I had a moment of like, see? But that scene was kind of unnecessary. Like, I almost even like wanted her to be more of a character, but she just kind of was there to talk and then to die.
I feel like the movie would have been better if, like, there was more. Okay, if we pause the movie there and we, like, make adjustments to the rest of the story.
Yeah.
It would have been better if, like, after he missed the shot in Paris, right, the beginning of the movie, where he was like, oh shit, like, I'm in deep doo-doo, right? And, like, it was like his character was, like, hiding out, struggling, was, like, fearful. And then these two people, Tilda Swinton and the Floridian guy, were, like, chasing after him. And then at some point, his character goes, no, I'm going to get them back. Right? And then in that process of him being scared, that he finds out that his girlfriend is in trouble. And then he's like, no. Or, like, maybe in the beginning of the movie and during his monologue, brings up that he has a girlfriend so that we know that, like, he's doing this for a certain reason. It just felt like everything was just, like, here you go. Like, there was, like, nothing behind anything. There was no purpose behind anything that was happening. So, like, it was hard to, like, buy into, like, his character at all, and then all of these, like, other characters. Like, I don't even, you're, like, you've been here for, like, 5 minutes, and you have, like, this super dramatic monologue about how it's your final moments. Like, I don't care. Like, just kill her.
Exactly.
Just kill her.
Give
us what we want.
Which I think then kind of sets us up going into the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I think that pissed me off the most. So the end of the movie, he finds the dude who was the original, like, hire or whatever. Like, right, the original, like, job, whatever, was his thing. And he did preface it, which, again, I should have known. He prefaced it with, like, you know, killing people like this is harder because when you kill, like, these, you know, rich, famous people, whatever, there's more heat. Like, you could get more heat on it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. But, like, this dude, like, he put a hit out on your girlfriend and you, basically. So he finds the dude, goes into his house, has a silencer on his gun. Everything is good. You know, the dude hung up the phone, so it's just them. And he doesn't kill him.
No. Because the rich guy is like, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's like, this is my first time. I've never done anything like this before. I didn't know, like, you know, it was your handler who, like, told me to do this thing. Like, my bad.
Yeah.
Like, he literally said, my bad.
Yeah. And then Fassbender was like, okay.
And Fassbender was like, so are we good? And I was like,
what? What was all this trouble?
Yeah,
for?
He's like, are we good? Like, do we have a problem? Like, you know, are we good? Like, are you going to send anybody else, like, after me? And he's just like, yeah, no, we're good. Like, we don't have a problem. Like, yeah, you're pointing a gun at me, but, like, we don't have a problem. Yeah. And he's just like, okay.
And he leaves.
And he
goes through all this trouble to get into this guy's house. Like, it takes, compared to the Floridian and Tilda Swinton, it takes him so much longer to get to this guy. He goes to his gym. He, like, copies the key card. Like, he does all this stuff. And it's like, he seems so savvy. And you're like, oh, this is going to be the big one. Yeah. You know, this is going to be a good kill.
This is endgame. Is to kill this dude.
This is going to be the biggest kill of the movie. Right. And then nothing happens.
That literally pissed me off so bad. Like, if the other kills didn't, you know, like, piss me off as much, I don't know if I would have been, like, really, really upset about this one. but I was already like over the edge where I was like, are you kidding me? So he lives. And then the Michael Fassbender goes back home to the DR and is just like, okay, I'm just gonna like live my life now.
Yeah. His girlfriend's there. She's fine.
Yeah.
She has a scar on her forehead.
From the, And they're like, okay, we're cool. That's it. That's the end of the movie.
That's how the movie ends. He gives her a little espresso cup.
And makes her a little coffee.
Yeah. And they're like in robes at their beautiful home off on the beach.
And then that's
being rich
and that's literally it.
That's literally the movie.
I was like,
all this fuss.
And
she's still alive.
Yeah.
She didn't even die.
Yeah.
But maybe he had to kill them because they would have come back and killed her? I don't know. But
I mean, they said they were good. They don't have a problem. Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on from the storyline and let's talk about the acting. Did you enjoy the acting? Like, let's kind of break it down, like, as an overall from every character. Michael Fassbender, because obviously we follow him the most. Yeah. And then all of, like, the other sub-characters, like the other assassins and, like, all of those. So, your thoughts?
I felt like the acting was fine.
Okay.
I mean, Fassbender's always very
He's
good.
always great, no matter what he's in, and that's why I was, like, very misled. But even in this, he was still really great.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah.
I felt like everybody was, like, fine.
Yeah.
There was nobody that was, like, at least in my opinion. You would have more, I think, experience, like, judging them, but, like, nobody really stuck out to me as, like, exceptional either. Like, it was just very mid.
And that's exactly how I felt. I didn't, even with Michael Fassbender, I wasn't, like, extremely impressed. But it's because I know he's a good actor. And same with, like, everybody else who was in it. Like, they were okay. Like, it wasn't like anybody was a breakout from any of them. I didn't. And I don't know if some of it had to do with the writing, where I couldn't really get attached to anybody realistically.
Right.
I think, like, even, it was a really, really small part, but I actually did enjoy the cab driver's acting.
Yeah.
Because I think out of everybody, he kind of gave more, like, interesting depth than everybody else. Because everyone was just kind of, like, here. But he kind of was,
the cab driver was good.
Yeah, isn't that weird? One of the smallest characters who ends up dying anyways. Like, almost everybody dies except for the main people.
Yeah.
But he gave, like, for me, the most interesting performance. Everyone else was just, like, they were good. Were they great? Impressive? Like, not really. It's just, like, I know they're going to be good, so they were good.
What did you think of Dolores? I thought she was pretty good. I
actually did enjoy her, too. Yeah, now that you're bringing her up.
Good.
Yeah, she was really good as well, too. So I think, it was because her acting was very, like, up and down. Not up and down, but sort of, like, give you depth as opposed to just kind of, like, here the whole time.
And those two characters were, like, the most fearful.
And I think that could be kind of, like, it as well, too, because then everybody else wasn't really, like, super fearful. No. And even, I guess at the end, like, the rich guy, he was fearful a little bit, but his fearful was, like, arrogant.
He was very arrogant.
Very arrogant. So I was just like, okay, well, that's, like, on point. It's not, like, impressive to me. It's just very on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of acting.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on now to the writing of it all. So I'll kind of, like, talk, about what I sort of thought, but I think I kind of already touched on it. That's why. And then we'll kind of, like, go into maybe some of the things that you had. But for me, I thought that, the parts that were exciting, like I said, it was really exciting. It was entertaining. Yeah. But the parts that were not, I mean, it seems so obvious, but, like, the parts that were, like, calm and everything, I could see a lot of people wanting to just, like, fast forward through those parts and skip through it. So it's, like, not even, like, I always bring up, like, my mom, because she's one of the most, like, difficult people to entertain when it comes to, like, movies. She's constantly skipping. And so I was like, she wouldn't even have gotten through the first, like, and I actually talked to her about it too. I even told her, because she, like, considered watching the movie, and I told her about, like, how he talks for the first literally, like, 12 minutes, something like that. And she was like, oh no, I would have got through, like, maybe 2-3 minutes, and then I would have turned it off. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I could see not just my mom, but even me, I really, like, if we weren't going to do a review, I was going to fast forward through just to see, like, if anything comes up. So I think the writing for me was lackluster.
Yeah, and also, like, I feel like I was expecting a twist the
Me
whole
too.
time.
Oh my god, yeah.
I was watching the movie and going, why would they write it this way? It has to be a reason. There has to be some weird twist.
Yeah.
Like, specifically a movie I think of is like Barbarian, right?
Oh.
Like, that movie is a huge...
We should have talked about that one. I love that movie.
I love that movie.
The twist, yeah. Literally
because you watch the beginning of the movie and you're like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
Why is like, all of this happening?
Especially when the way that they're writing, it's leading you towards one way, which I thought that's what this movie was doing. It was leading us towards him missing the shot, and then the twist was going to come there. That's what I thought, maybe.
Yeah.
And it just never came.
It never came.
I guess there was I wouldn't say it was a twist. It was a whole ass pivot. Whole ass pivot from the original storyline into something that was not expected, but not in a good way. Like, not a twist like Barbarian in a good way.
And it felt like all of the little monologues that the characters had were supposed to be, like, really deep and meaningful, and they weren't.
Yeah.
They were very, like,
yeah,
cookie cutter. It felt like the script was written in, like, ChatGPT.
Almost, right?
Yeah.
And, like, so that's, like, that's another thing that I was going to bring up as well, too. I kind of felt like, okay, I get where they're trying to go with this movie.
Yeah.
It is different.
Yeah.
Because it's not your typical traditional, like, assassin movie where it's just all action, no story, right?
Yeah.
I can see how it's like the same thing with the very first line. Like, it's, incredibly exhausting to do nothing. Like, it's physically exhausting to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how the whole movie was. It was incredibly exhausting to watch this movie because of how tamed it was, except for obviously like the fighting scenes, which weren't that many.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it's almost like the writing, they were leading us into telling us what was going to happen. We just didn't want that to happen and we weren't expecting it. Yet it happened anyway.
Yeah, they warned us. Nothing's gonna happen in this movie. So get ready.
And we were just
turn
like,
it off now.
Yeah, and we were just like, oh, maybe this is where it gets good. Like, oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And I do understand. I feel like what they try, this is just like my opinions. What they try to do with this movie is kind of how, like, with horror movies, there's like this subgenre now of like elevated horror.
Yeah.
Right? Which, like, I actually do enjoy some people, they just can't do it well. Yeah. Some elevated horror is really good.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of feel like they tried to do elevated action with this movie because it was more so, let's look into the psychology of an assassin and what goes on in their minds and what, like, makes these decisions and things like that as well too, as opposed to like the action that they experience. It's more so up here. Like, it was literally trying to make you think.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's what they were trying
it was
to,
like
I don't think they were successful.
I don't think it was successful either. But I was like, I think this is what they're trying to do because, like, what else could this be other than a really tamed and boring action movie about an assassin who sucks at being an assassin?
I mean, it would have, if they would have kept this, like, inner monologue with him all the way through, written in throughout the script.
Oh, that's
because it felt like they kind of stopped doing it at some point too. Of like just Michael Fassbender's character talking through more of his feelings because he does it at the beginning of the movie,
right? And then maybe one-liners here or there.
Yeah, but like it just that's it, and it's like he should have. I don't know. That would have made it better too, but they didn't do that. And
I know. Did you have any other writing thoughts?
I kind of one thing I do like is that we never know his name.
Yeah, we never. Like, I get that. We shouldn't know his name, right? And I think we know all of his aliases.
We know his aliases.
They make a point to really like throw in all those aliases.
His last alias was George Jefferson, which I thought was pretty funny. Did you catch that?
At first I thought that was his actual name. Because I was like, the boring, like the most boring one out of all of them, that would be his name.
Yeah. But isn't like George Jefferson like, That's from a 70s TV show, right?
Oh, is it?
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, I didn't catch that up.
Jefferson. Yeah. George Jefferson is on All in the Family. The Jeffersons.
Oh.
This guy.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So I thought that was funny. You know, he like the at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, the writing wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't good
at all.
No.
Okay, so moving on to just maybe kind of like last thoughts and things like that. So I had a really random one because I was watching a different show and like this kind of came up in it as well too, and it came up in this movie. So he says that this is like a dog-eat-dog world, right?
Yeah, he does say that. When
you hear that phrase, do you use it or do you hear it as dog eat dog or doggy dog? Because it came up in. Have you ever watched Schmigadoon?
No.
And they talk about it. And then, like, I was like, oh my god, this is like, I need to talk about this with Sophie because like I have thoughts on.
Wait, so like doggy. Oh my
Dog,
god, I can't hear it.
Dog eat dog, like dog eat dog world, like dogs eating other dogs because it's like a rough, like world, whatever, or a doggy dog world.
Oh my, like
doggy dog.
I feel like I feel like subconsciously I've thought that, but it's never like nobody's ever like verbalized it.
But what do you say though?
I say dog eat dog.
Okay, because like in the movie he also says dog eat dog, but in Schmigadoon they have this fight and the end of it is that it's doggy dog. So, like the other one, not dog eat dog, it's doggy dog. So I Googled it, and like, the internet is divided.
Wait. So people are saying doggy dog, but they mean to say dog eat dog.
If that's like if that's the saying.
But people are saying it wrong.
Yeah.
Kind of like how people say, like specifically, some people say pacifically.
Oh, 100%.
Like
that's
that?
My husband. Yeah. That's him, 100%.
But I can't unhear it now. Like, I think every time I say it, I'm going to say doggy dog now.
A doggy dog world.
Because it just sounds
doggy
cuter.
Because
it's just cuter.
It's a doggy dog world. Like,
just imagine.
It's tough for dogs out there type of thing.
Yeah. I'm just picturing Michael Fassbender, like, being serious. Going, it's a doggy dog. It's a doggy dog world. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I just need to like ask and like get that out there and like get that out there on the internet. I don't know what other people think, but like I think it's dog.
I'm gonna start asking people.
Dog.
It's dog eats
because
dog.
it's like it's so bad
it's
out
like
there that the dog.
Chain.
Like everyone's kind of like
people
not
are
eating
fighting.
each other.
People are taking each other's places in the hierarchy of society. Yeah.
Not like a doggy dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doggy dog. Dog eat dog.
Okay, I just needed to get that out there. But any other like last things?
I mentioned that I think he's keto diet.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he likes the Smiths. Mm-hmm. What's with all the bucket hats?
What is
He wore a lot of bucket hats.
Okay, was it because is that really what like German tourists look? Because remember he said like I'm dressing like a German tourist because people hate. Or at least like the French, they hate German tourists.
But he
is that what German tourists
to wear
the bucket
hats after that? And then like when he was in Chicago and it was cold, he wore a black beanie. And I was like, okay, he's wearing a standard, typical assassin outfit now.
But his like go-to disguise is like a German tourist with a
bucket hat. But there was one other place he wore a bucket hat. Like I think in Florida.
It was in Florida. Yeah,
when he was buying, a blue bucket hat.
Yeah, when he was buying all of the stuff.
It's like, why would you be a German tourist in Florida? There's just a lot of bucket hats.
Yeah.
A lot of bucket hats.
That's funny.
Also, okay, there's one when he goes to kill Tilda Swinton, right?
Yeah.
She's a normie. He says that she's a normie. She lives in Chicago,
right? In like the suburbs.
In the suburbs. And he like rents cars and like changes the plates on them all the time. And he's like parked in this like very nice upscale like suburban area of Chicago, and he just like parks and is like staking her out like in front of her house. I feel like on my street, if there's ever a new car,
you would like
I
notice them.
watched that car like a hawk.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I've never seen this car before. Why is it here?
Yeah.
You know, and
especially in like the bougie, like suburby area
Yeah.
that she was in.
It's like, I don't understand how, especially in Florida,
Yeah.
too, he literally parks like on the same street.
Like literally a few houses down.
A few houses down from these houses of these people he's gonna kill.
Yeah.
It's like, how would anybody not notice like a brand new rental car?
Yeah.
And notice him just sleeping in the car.
Literally.
Like on their street. Like if I saw somebody doing that on my street,
it'd be sketchy.
Really obvious.
Especially assassins. Like you don't think assassins would like notice those kinds of things.
And especially like a sketchy like dude.
Yeah.
Like quite honestly. Like anybody that looks kind of sus. Like he looked kind of sus with his like bucket hat and his all black outfit. It's like, how did he not get caught? Yeah. Like to me that was like a major like maybe that kind of goes with writing, but like that's like a major thing in the writing where I was like, I feel like an assassin wouldn't just rent a car, right? Wouldn't he have some sort of like assassin agency where they like, right? Like does he do it all himself? Like I don't know. I just felt like that was interesting to me that he just like parks, and nobody notices him. It's like you would have gotten caught. Like if you were in my city. 100%. If you were in your city, I think you would have gotten caught.
100%.
But it's bad for the movie.
Yeah. Okay, so our last little thing, you kind of already gave your thoughts on this, but if you had a choice, would you stream it or skip it? Like if you were telling or recommending this to other people, would you tell them to stream it or skip it?
I would tell them to skip it. Okay. Because I would be embarrassed to... I wouldn't want people thinking that I like this movie.
Okay, same.
Right?
Same. I mean, I tried. I really tried. Like, I wanted... See, that's like kind of where it goes into like my rating. Where I gave it a 4 initially, but I was like, you know, I might give it a 5, maybe even a 5.5, because I would say if you want a slower paced action movie that makes you think, you know, psychology-wise, go ahead, stream it. But if you're looking for the typical action movie that's super entertaining, I would say skip it.
Yeah, I think like maybe it just depends who's asking me.
Yeah.
I think that like most people might enjoy this movie, I guess, but like I'm kind of a movie snob.
Would we say most though?
If you were asking me, should I watch this, you specifically?
Yeah.
I would say no, don't watch it.
Okay.
But if like my grandma was like, I want to watch a movie, and she was like, should I watch it? I would say yes to my grandma.
I would still tell your grandma no.
Because I think she would enjoy it. She'd be like, oh, that was so like, whoa, exciting. And it's like not that gory, like, you know, she might like, it's not like a very incredibly hard plot to follow, in my opinion. Like, but I would still skip it.
Yeah. And I feel like for those people who do enjoy it, you know, or like who do enjoy it, like, okay, cool, like, that's fine. And people who don't enjoy it, who like, kind of like us, like, feel bad or like almost like dumb if we don't enjoy it, because it's like, yeah, it makes you think, but at the same time, it's like, I didn't want to think. Like, I would say don't worry about that, because it's like, it was really boring. Like, who wants to, like, sit through a movie that makes you think a lot, but, like, it's also boring, you know? Like, there are so many ways that you could have, like you said, like, it could have been, like, the psychology of an assassin as he, like, voices everything through.
Right.
But it really wasn't that.
Yeah, and also, like, I want to feel invested in a movie. Like, I am very much, when I watch a movie, I ask questions out loud. So, like, I don't go to the movie theater a lot, because I'm always like, what? Why are they doing that? What's happening? Like, so watching this movie, not one peep came out of me. Because, and that's when I knew I was like, oh, I don't like this movie. Because I wasn't invested in his character. I knew nothing about him. I wasn't, like, worried about him. I wasn't, you know, sad when his lady got, I was like, that's what you get. You know?
Yeah.
So, skip it.
Skip it. You've heard it. You heard it here.
Don't watch it. Don't waste your time.
You heard it here. All right, everybody. So that basically wraps us up for this episode. So this has been my special guest, Sophie Gonzalez.
Yay.
Like I said before, I will link all of her social media so you can go ahead and follow her. And as for me, your host, it has been so fun to do this mukbang with you and to kind of, talk about this with everybody else as well too. I really want all of you to give us your thoughts. We've already gave all of our thoughts. So in the comments, if you want to go ahead and just, shoot off and like tell us what you thought. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And that pretty much is going to be it and wraps us up. So please be sure to like and subscribe for more. We'll definitely be back. I would love to have you back for more. Like maybe we should even talk about Barbarian because that was a really good one too.
Love that.
Yeah, so maybe next time. Yeah. And then also just let us know in the comments as well too what you would like for us to review. Okay?
Yay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye,
Thanks
couch
for having
potatoes.
me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Bye, couch potatoes.